Right then, Keir Starmer just got absolutely eviscerated by one of his own party grandees, and we're not talking about some backbench rebel. We're talking about Harriet Harman, Labour royalty, who just called the Prime Minister weak and naive and gullible. Let that sink in for a second. When your own side starts using language like that, you're not having a bad week, you're having a political death spiral. And what triggered this unprecedented demolition? The Peter Mandelson scandal has gone from embarrassing to absolutely catastrophic, and Starmer's defense, that none of us knew the depth of the darkness about Mandelson's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, has convinced precisely nobody. Police are now investigating whether Mandelson passed market-sensitive information to a convicted paedophile when he was business secretary back in 2008. Think about that for a second. The man Starmer appointed as ambassador to the United States is under criminal investigation, and the Prime Minister's response is essentially whoops, didn't see that coming. Hit subscribe if you want the daily dose of political chaos delivered with actual analysis, because this story is about to get messier. Let me fill you in on what's been happening. Mandelson was appointed US ambassador last year despite his well-documented connections to Epstein being public knowledge for years. But now the pressure isn't just on the disgraced peer who stepped down from the Lords, it's squarely on Starmer himself and his chief of staff, Morgan McSweeney. Labour MP Simon Uffer, who's also a GP, didn't mince words. If my chief of staff had done this, he would be looking for another job. According to multiple reports, there's serious anger amongst Labour MPs demanding a clear out of number 10 advisors. But here's where the rubber meets the road. And before we go any further, let's be real for a second. Starmer's claiming ignorance about Mandelson's Epstein ties is like hiring a builder who's been on Cowboy Builders 3 times and acting shocked when your extension collapses. Everyone knew. The information was public. The photos existed. The flight logs existed. But Starmer appointed him anyway, and now his acting like this is some unforeseeable tragedy rather than entirely predictable incompetence. Here's where it gets interesting. Now here's the kicker. Politicians from multiple parties are calling for McSweeney's head, but Uffer's comments reveal the real issue. Keir may have things to answer, but mainly he's been very poorly advised. That's Westminster speak for the boss is the problem, but we're not quite ready to say it out loud yet. When your own MPs are publicly demanding you sack your top advisor and calling for a fresh new start, they're not critiquing your staff, they're questioning whether you're fit to lead. If you're enjoying this breakdown, go ahead and subscribe, because the knives are out and this is far from over. So let's break down what this actually means for normal people. First, the immediate political impact is catastrophic. A prime minister being called weak and gullible by his own party grandee while under pressure to sack his chief of staff is fighting for survival, not governing. Second, the broader implications are stunning. If Starmer couldn't spot the obvious red flags around Mandelson, what else is he missing? Third, the electoral consequences are potentially devastating. Labour's already struggling in polls. An appointed Epstein associate as US ambassador isn't exactly a winning campaign slogan. So here's the deal. Starmer's attempt to blame his advisors for his own catastrophic judgment isn't fooling anyone, least of all his own MPs. When Harriet Harman calls you weak and naive, when backbenchers demand you sack your chief of staff, when the phrase political death spiral starts feeling accurate, you're not weathering a storm, you're drowning in one of your own making. Keep an eye on this. If McSweeney goes, Starmer's authority evaporates completely. Subscribe if you want tomorrow's inevitable drama delivered with the same energy, because this government is imploding in real time and we're here for every excruciating moment.